One. Hey, welcome to Modern Age Farms. It's Wednesday, the 11th of April. I know we were supposed to bring out a video on Sunday, but we were so busy we didn't really get the chance. So here we are doing our week 2 update of the aquaponics system, and unfortunately we have some pretty bad news. Judging from the system, we haven't really got much growth from last week, but we pretty much know the reason. Come over here to the system, I'll show y'all. Basically, in putting together the system, you can see there's still a lot of our holes in our troughs that haven't been filled with cups. And pretty much what's happened is that since the water is so nutrient rich, a lot of, if you could look in here, a lot of algae has begun to build up inside of our troughs. That's doing two things. Is absorbing a lot of our nutrients, so it's pretty much starving the other plants of the nutrients that would be there for them. Another thing is, as we fill the system with plants, what's happening is the algae is dying. If you can look in here, you can see a lot of the algae is gone brown. And as that algae dies, what it seems to be doing is attaching itself to the roots of the plants. And you will see, or you can remember our lettuce that we had in there last week is no longer there because that died of root rot. Basically, the algae after dying attached itself to the roots and basically stop the plants from being able to absorb the nutrients that it would usually absorb, and it died. As you can see, let's go over here. And this was basically the first stage that we saw with our lettuce. What was happening? The leaves started going yellow, and that is usually an indication of a lack of nitrates. Basically, the plant is being starved of nitrates. If you could look in the bottom of the cup, I'm not sure if you could see, you can see a lot of brown specks here, and that's a dead algae that seems to be attaching itself to the plant. If you look at the plant though, the basil plant itself, there's one plant that we're still seeing a lot of growth in, even though we have an insufficient amount of nutrients in the plant. Last week I said I couldn't count the leaves, and some people disagreed with me, but this week I definitely can't count the leaves on this basil plant. I wouldn't even try. It's doing really good, even though the leaves are starting to yellow. Our beans, look at this. Look at those roots. The beans are still doing fairly good. The leaves are still pretty green. But you can see the algae is starting to attach itself. You're starting to see some brown roots on the beans. Not a lot of growth in the okras. The watermelon, putting out a few leaves. Another thing that I'm seeing some improvement in is the spinach. If you look at the leaves, grown a few leaves since last week, but if you look at these roots, there's not a good sign. They're looking quite dirty, and there's probably some root rot setting in. So, what me and Shervin have decided to do is we are going to swap out these pipes that we have here and replace it with one pipe that we have behind here. We're going to start fresh and try to limit the amount of algae that gets in the system. So we'll transplant all the plants that we have here into that new pipe, and hopefully we should see some improvements, as hopefully too much nutrients won't be being stolen by the algae. Yeah, that's it from Modern Age Farms. Maybe if we finish this evening, we will get in another video with the new system hooked up, or the new pipe hooked up. But if we don't, well, see you next week.